Hey there. Ready to dive deep into some fascinating ideas about leadership and what truly motivates people? You've given us some intriguing excerpts from Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why.
Yeah.
So let's unpack what makes his approach so compelling.
Sinek's work really strikes at the chord because it speaks to a fundamental truth about us, about human behavior.
Hmm.
We're driven by emotion more than logic.
Right.
He argues that understanding the why, the purpose, the cause, the belief behind an individual, a company, even a movement, is key to inspiring lasting action.
Okay, so we're not just talking about what a company does or even how they do it.
Right.
We're talking about the why that underpins it all.
Precisely.
Okay.
And to illustrate this, Sinek introduces this model called the golden circle.
Okay.
It starts with why at its core, surrounded by how, and finally what on the outermost ring.
So most companies communicate from the outside in, right?
Exactly.
Leading with what they do.
Think about how many commercials you've seen that start with features and benefits and comparisons. It's all about the what.
It's like reading a list of ingredients instead of tasting the actual dish. You're right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't grab you in the same way.
And that's what Sinek wants us to reverse.
Okay.
He argues that to truly resonate with people, we need to start with the why.
Hmm.
Think about Apple, for instance.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
They didn't just say, we make computers.
Yeah.
They challenged the status quo. They empowered individuals with user-friendly technology.
Exactly.
They started with why.
Their why, to challenge the status quo, became their driving force. And it's reflected in every product they create, every message they put out.
It's like their why is woven into their very DNA.
Yeah.
And that's why people don't just buy Apple products. They buy into Apple's belief system.
They become a part of something bigger, a community of like-minded individuals.
Right.
It's no longer just a transaction, it's an emotional connection.
Now, this whole idea of starting with why, is it just a marketing tactic or is there something deeper at play here?
This is where it gets really fascinating.
Okay.
Sinek argues that this why-centered approach, it isn't just some marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
It's deeply rooted in our biology,
Okay.
particularly in how our brains work.
Okay, let's unpack this biological connection.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
So you know how we often say we made a decision based on gut feeling? Like it just felt right.
All the time, especially with big decisions.
Well, that's not just some whimsical notion.
Right.
It's actually rooted in how our brains work.
Wow.
You see, our decision-making process, it isn't entirely rational.
Okay.
A lot of it happens in the limbic system.
The limbic system, remind me what that is again?
It's the part of the brain responsible for our emotions, our gut feelings.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is the limbic system, it doesn't control language.
So that's why it's so hard to explain why we're drawn to certain brands or products.
Yeah.
We just know.
Exactly. Think about a time you were buying something significant, maybe a car or a piece of art.
Yeah.
You did all your research, you weighed the pros and cons, but ultimately you went with the one that just felt right.
Oh, totally. I've definitely had those moments where my gut just took over.
And Sinek would say that's your limbic system responding to the why behind that product or brand.
Interesting.
Even if you can't articulate it, your subconscious recognizes a sheet of why.
Wow. So our subconscious is doing all this work behind the scenes.
Uh-huh.
It's recognizing shared values and beliefs before our conscious mind even catches up.
Precisely. And when that happens, when a company's why resonates with our own values and beliefs, that's when true loyalty is born.
It's not just about features and benefits anymore.
It's about a shared worldview, a shared sense of purpose.
Right.
And that, my friend, is the foundation of long-lasting success.
Wow.
Not just in business, but in any movement or endeavor that aims to inspire.
Welcome back. I'm really eager to keep exploring Sinek's ideas with you,
Yeah.
especially after that last part where we talked about companies losing their way,
Yeah.
experiencing that split as they grow.
Right.
It's a bit daunting, to be honest.
It is a cautionary tale for sure.
Yeah.
But the good news is Sinek doesn't leave us hanging.
Okay.
He offers guidance on how to recenter your why and even avoid the split altogether.
Okay, so how do we put these ideas into action?
Right.
It can't just be about understanding the theory.
Right. Absolutely not. It's about taking action, about making conscious choices that align with your why.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first steps is clarity. You have to truly know your why, both as an individual and as an organization.
And that clarity has to go beyond a generic mission statement, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be ingrained in everything you do.
Precisely. It has to be present in every meeting, every product launch, every interaction with a customer.
Wow.
It's about consistency, about weaving your why into the very fabric of your organization.
It's almost like building a culture around your why, making it so ingrained that it becomes second nature.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Sinek calls this creating a culture of trust. When everyone in an organization believes in the why, trust naturally emerges.
And that trust becomes the foundation for innovation, for loyalty, for lasting success.
Exactly.
It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly. And a great example of this in action is Continental Airlines back in the 1990s.
Oh, yes. I remember reading about this in the book.
Yeah.
They were notorious for being, well, not the best airline.
To put it mildly, they were plagued by low morale, terrible customer service, the works.
Yeah.
But then Gordon Bethune came in as CEO, and he was determined to turn things around.
And he did it by putting the employees first.
Right.
Okay.
He understood that happy, motivated employees would naturally provide better service.
Right.
He instituted an open-door policy, made himself accessible to employees, even worked alongside baggage handlers at the airport.
Wow.
It was a powerful message that everyone was in it together,
Right.
and he backed it up with action.
Okay.
He created a system where employees were rewarded for on-time departures. And he didn't just add the bonus to their paychecks.
Oh,
He sent separate checks, making it tangible,
wow.
a symbol of their shared success.
It's amazing how such a seemingly small gesture can have such a profound impact.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing and rewarding the why, not just the what.
Mm-hmm.
And the results speak for themselves.
Right.
Continental Airlines went from being the worst to one of the best,
Wow.
all because they reconnected with their why.
That's incredible.
It's a powerful testament to the transformative power of authentic leadership. And it makes you think, what could we achieve if we all adopted that same why-centered approach?
It's inspiring, to say the least. Now, speaking of inspiring transformations, Sinek also talks about tipping points,
Yes.
those moments when an idea or a movement gains enough momentum to create a real shift.
Sinek draws on Malcolm Gladwell's research on the tipping point, specifically the importance of connectors and influencers.
Those are the people who can really get the word out, generate buzz and excitement.
Exactly. But here's the thing. People are far more likely to amplify a message that resonates with them on a deeper level.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm far more likely to rave about a product if it aligns with my values, with my why.
Exactly. And that's how tipping points happen.
Okay.
When people are inspired by your why, they become your most passionate advocates.
They're not just spreading the word because they're paid to,
Right.
but because they genuinely believe in it.
Precisely. They become part of something bigger,
Wow.
part of a movement.
Right.
Think about the civil rights movement, for example.
Led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
He wasn't just advocating for policy changes. He was communicating a powerful vision, a dream of equality that resonated deeply with people.
And people showed up for that dream.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands marched on Washington, not because of clever slogans or marketing campaigns,
Right.
but because they believed in the why behind the movement.
It gives me chills just thinking about it. The power of a shared why to mobilize people, to inspire action, to create real change.
It's about connecting with people on an emotional level,
Right.
about tapping into something deeper than logic or reason. It's about shared beliefs, shared values, a shared sense of purpose.
It reminds me of that quote. I think it's attributed to Dr. King. People don't remember what you said or did. They remember how you made them feel.
And that's what a strong why does.
Right.
It evokes a feeling, a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves.
This is making me think about all the times I've been truly inspired.
Yeah,
It's always been about connecting with the why, with the underlying values and beliefs.
exactly. Those are the moments that stay with us,
Right.
the moments that shape our perspectives, that motivate us to act.
It's like we're tapping into this hidden code of human behavior,
Right.
understanding what truly makes people tick.
And ultimately, that's what Sinek's Start With Why is all about. It's about rediscovering our humanity, understanding what drives us, what inspires us, and how we can use that knowledge to create a better world.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
Yeah.
We've covered so much ground, from the golden circle to tipping points to the importance of a strong why.
It's a lot to unpack.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
The importance of consistency in aligning our actions with our why.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just have a great why.
Right.
You have to live it, breathe it, embody it in everything you do.
Because if your actions contradict your words, people will see right through it, won't they?
They'll sense a disconnect,
Yeah.
a lack of authenticity,
Right.
and that can erode trust faster than anything.
Sinek uses a really interesting analogy to illustrate this point, the celery test.
Ah, yes. The celery test. A simple yet powerful concept.
I have to admit, I was a bit puzzled by it at first. How does celery relate to decision-making?
Imagine you're at the grocery store, faced with a million choices.
Okay.
What do you reach for?
Well, hopefully something healthy.
Exactly. But why? Why choose the apple over the chips? The celery over the cookie?
Because I'm trying to make healthy choices.
Right.
It's about aligning my actions with my desire to feel good.
Precisely. And that's the celery test in action.
Okay.
It's about using your why as a filter for your decisions, making choices that align with your beliefs even when it's hard.
So it's not just about grocery shopping.
Right.
It's about applying that same principle to all areas of our lives.
Exactly.
Our careers, our relationships, even our everyday interactions.
Exactly. It's about living with integrity, walking the talk, making sure our actions reflect our values.
And when we do that, when we live in alignment with our why, we create a ripple effect.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected.
Yes.
That our choices, our actions, our why can have a far greater impact than we realize.
Wow. That's a powerful thought.
It's about stepping into our power, recognizing that even the smallest actions can make a difference.
I love that. It's not about waiting for some grand opportunity to make a difference.
Right.
It's about making conscious choices every single day.
Exactly. It's about infusing our why into every aspect of our lives and inspiring others to do the same.
This conversation has been so incredibly insightful. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on leadership, motivation, and even just understanding human behavior.
It's amazing what happens when we start asking why.
It is.
It opens up a whole new world of understanding.
I'm ready to keep going. This is so fascinating. We've been talking about living in alignment with our why, making choices that reflect our core beliefs and values.
Yeah.
But how do we take that next step? How do we amplify our why, share it with the world, and really make a difference?
That's where it gets really exciting. Sinek talks about building a megaphone for your why.
Okay.
It's about crafting a clear, compelling message that resonates with people.
Right.
And then finding the right channels to amplify it.
I love that analogy. So it's not just about shouting your why from the rooftops.
Right.
It's about strategic amplification, finding the right platforms and the right people to help spread the message.
Exactly. It starts with clarity.
Right?
You have to be able to articulate your why in a way that's concise, inspiring, and easy to grasp.
It's like that elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
Being able to communicate your core message in a way that captures attention and sparks curiosity.
Exactly. But it goes beyond just words.
Okay.
Every aspect of your organization should reflect your why. Your products, your services, your marketing, your company culture, it should all be a cohesive expression of your core belief.
It's like that old saying, actions speak louder than words.
Well, right?
You can't just talk about your why, you have to live it every single day.
Absolutely. And that's how you build trust and credibility. When
Right.
people see that you're walking the talk, that your actions align with your words,
Right.
they're more likely to buy into your vision.
And that's where finding the right people comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Building a team of passionate advocates who share your why.
You want to surround yourself with people who are just as passionate about your why as you are. People who embody your values and can help you bring your vision to life.
Because enthusiasm is contagious.
It is.
When you have a team that truly believes in what they're doing, that energy is palpable.
Exactly. And it creates a ripple effect.
Right.
When your team is genuinely excited about your why, that enthusiasm will naturally spread to your customers, your clients, your audience.
It's about building a movement, a community of like-minded individuals who are all driven by a shared sense of purpose.
Precisely. And as you grow, it's important to stay true to your why.
Yeah.
Resist the temptation to chase trends or compare yourself to the competition.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing
Yeah.
and lose sight of what makes you unique.
Absolutely. And Sinek uses Volkswagen as a cautionary tale.
Okay.
They tried to launch a luxury car, the Phaeton, which completely clashed with their why of making affordable, reliable cars for the everyday person.
It's like they failed the celery test on a grand scale.
Yeah.
Their actions didn't align with their why, and it ultimately backfired.
Exactly. It's a reminder that authenticity is key.
Right.
People can spot a phony a mile away.
So how do we avoid falling into that trap?
Yeah.
How do we stay true to ourselves while also growing and evolving?
It's about regularly revisiting your why.
Okay.
Asking yourself if your actions are still in alignment with your core beliefs
Uh-huh.
and being willing to adjust course if needed.
So it's not about being stagnant. It's about staying true to your core while also being adaptable and responsive to change.
Precisely. And it's about finding ways to symbolize your why,
Okay.
to make it tangible and memorable.
That's where things like logos, slogans, even rituals and traditions come in, right?
Yeah.
They serve as visual reminders of your why,
Mm-hmm.
reinforcing your message and creating a sense of community.
Exactly. Think about companies like Harley-Davidson or Apple.
Right? They've created powerful brand identities that are deeply rooted in their why.
It's not just about the products they sell.
Right.
It's about the lifestyle they represent, the community they've built.
And those communities are built on shared beliefs, shared values, a shared sense of purpose.
Right.
And that's what makes them so powerful.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It has been fun.
Sinek's ideas are so simple, yet so profound.
They really make you think about the world differently
They do.
and about the power we all have to inspire and make a difference.
So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you hope listeners take away from this conversation?
That they have a why
Mm-hmm.
and that it's worth discovering, nurturing, and sharing with the world.
Because when we lead with why, anything is possible.
I love it.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey into the heart of what truly motivates us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Until next time, keep asking why.